Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Yes, it is. Which is why I'm going to do this. Thank you to all my replay viewers. I'm so happy to have you here. It's such an encouragement to come back after a while and see that you guys have given me hearts and that you're actually watching this, and that just encourages me to keep on scoping. So, hi Lauren. So happy you're here. I am going to see if the light is. Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Okay. Well, here, let's look. Woo! Better. Good morning. How are you? Doing good on Wednesday? So, I am going to grab my timer. I had somebody. Good. I'm glad. Isn't Wednesday hump day? Hump day? That's what that thing is. I can never. Yeah, I think so. Because then after this, and then this week we actually have a short week because we're in the Bible Belt, and the Bible Belt loves the Bible. So they actually let the kids have Good Friday off, which is awesome. I grew up in Wyoming, and they're like, "What's Easter?" So we never got Good Friday off. Yeah, I love it. I'm just like, that's awesome. Yay for schools that like Good Friday. Which is funny, though, because my husband's in college here. So, of course, the universities are the whole, what's Easter? So, he's not off, but the kids are. So, I'm super excited that they only have 2 more days of school. All right, I'm going to set my timer. It was funny, one of my friends, and Crystal, if you watch this later, then hi. She's like, I watched you and I saw you set your timer, and she thought it was like because I was part of this group. And I was like, no, it's just because I get super rambly and don't shut up, so I need to control myself a little bit better on Periscope. So I've been setting a timer. So I set my timer and let's dive into it. I know, right? No, but I love to talk. Seriously. And I love to talk on video. So I'll just sit here. So I'll start going off into all these random tangents, kind of like this right now. And then I'll look and I'll be like, I just scoped for 30 minutes. That was not smart. Nobody wants to watch me ramble for 30 minutes. And I don't have time to do that. So setting the timer, getting down to business. So, like I titled this, Why You Should Have Prayer Play Date. So this all is something that just kind of, well, my eyebrow was looking a little weird there, guys. Okay, I fixed it. So this is something that I just started randomly. This is something that God brought together in me and a dear friend's life through a bunch of really cool, hi Claire, through a bunch of really cool, circumstances. But as a Christian, I don't believe in circumstances. I think that it was really God planning it all along. And it was just so cool to see how it came together. And it has been literally a life changer for me and my friend. We were just talking about this last week because I told her that I'd mentioned it in one of my scopes. And she told me, she said, I can't imagine living life without this now. And so since she feels that way too, I was like, this is probably something that's just too good to keep to ourselves. So I wanted to share it. So it kind of started out that when I first moved to Texas 3 years ago, I didn't know anybody. And most of other than my husband, and actually, I'll take that back. We actually had more people that we knew here than anywhere else we moved because I knew his mom and his dad. And so with him being in the military, we usually moved to places where he was the only one I knew. And with both North Carolina and Boston, we had never stepped foot in the state that we moved to. So thankfully, I'm an extrovert, so it kind of forced me to put myself out there. North Carolina, I did a terrible job, and looking back, I can see that I hated living there because I was home with a baby alone, and I didn't get out there, and I didn't find a support system until right before we moved, and I was miserable, you guys, and I thought I hated it because of the state, but I really just hated it because I was an extrovert who was like sitting inside the house all day, every day with no friends. It was really rough as a mom with a newborn. But that's a different scope for a different day. But anyways, I was able to connect with an amazing moms group, MOPS, in Boston. So when I moved to Texas, the first thing I did was look up moms groups. I knew I needed to find me a MOPS. And our local group was even more amazing. They were still listed on the MOPS, but they had just rebranded themselves. And so basically what they did was they took play groups and MOPS and combined them together. And my arm is going to wear out. I'm going to try to set you guys right here. There we go. Ah! Set you up against there. Okay. Since there also aren't any creepers, I feel like I can show more than like just right here. Because I've been having to be a little bit careful about that lately. It's like as soon as I showed like any of this, it was like the comments started coming. But it's been a lot better lately. I think I'm learning how to keep the creepers away. And yeah, anyways, that's another scoop for a different day too. Because I've been getting some on Instagram, and that's like the least spammy of all the places. So, focusing. Moms group. So when I got down here, I found an amazing moms group. And it was just so cool. Like, I've had good luck with moms groups, but this one was just amazing. They would have, like a speaker come in like moms, and then they have play dates, other weeks, and then they have outings. So seriously, they're the most epic moms group ever. They're just so amazing. I wish all the moms groups were that, because you don't have to find people who want to go to like the Discovery Children's Place, and people who want to host play dates at their house, and people who want to have speakers. It's all in one, and then every single week you had something to look forward to. It's amazing. The girl that I learned who came up with the idea was just brilliant. She's awesome. I love her to death. So I found this group, and it was also so amazing because it was the first group that I'd been in where you had a room full of women, and there was not a single, hey buddy, I'm scoping. Okay, I'll be right there.
Scoping?
Yes. Can you go wait for 1 second?
Oh, sure.
My little 5-year-old. He is in pre-K, Tuesdays, Thursdays, but these days he's playing Legos right now. So, yes, exactly. This is me as a mom. You guys can see that I am a mom. So I know what I'm talking about, you guys. I'm still in the trenches with you. But anyways, a room full of women, and there was not cattiness. There was not comparing. There was nothing. There was just like openness and love and honest Christian faith. And oh my word, I was like, this is what the Christian community is supposed to look like. But this is the first time that I've found it. And just, it was such a blessing to my heart. Like, they just welcomed me with open arms. I know, right? Moved to East Texas. And the big thing is there's tons of amazing ministries that are based out of here. YWAM, which is Youth with a Mission, is based out of this area. Mercy Ships, I don't know if you guys have heard of Mercy Ships. They're based out of here. So basically, I was at a table with a bunch of missionary wives. But we're talking like real life in the trenches. They go to Africa and put Band-Aids on people, missionaries. So they're very practical and practical-minded, but they also had a bunch of little kids, and so they were just like, I don't know how to potty train them. And so it was amazing, too, to realize that missionaries and pastors' wives are real people, especially when they have little kids. They're sitting there going, my husband's stressing me out, and my kids are little, and I'm going, you're a missionary. You're, like, supposed to be, like, super Christian, right? And that just kind of, it's also a whole different thing. It's, they're just real people, too. They just need mom friends, too. So that was a blessing. But because they just had amazing, amazing walks in their Christian faith, and just really just helped me to grow being friends with them. But that year, the table I was at was just amazing. And so they would give us a time for prayer at the end of each talk. And that year, they had a bunch of talks that were like spiritual, Christian mom, spiritual kind of talks for the MOPS group. And so afterwards, we would just share. And we all had this crazy stuff that we were going through in our lives. And a lot of us had very similar crazy things we were going through in our lives. And so afterwards, and another thing about this group is they bring mentor moms in. They take moms who are like grandmas now and then put one at each table so that we have like a wiser woman who's done it before, gone on to have children who didn't, tear the world apart or did, because they can tell us, and so that was amazing too. And so we had this amazing, just spiritual mentor mom at our table who was just so loving. And then we would do prayer requests, and then we would all pray together. And I mean, we got real. Like, we got more real than I've ever gotten with anybody before. It's like we were able to take up our fake plastic, my life's fine, guys, it's great. And we're actually able to be like, I'm not doing so good. This is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm struggling with. Please pray about this for me, because man, this is on my heart. And we always ended up in tears. And it was amazing because it was a safe place to be vulnerable. And we knew that these women weren't going to go around and be like, you're never going to guess what's going on and blah, 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 blah. Like, we could actually tell what was going on. So after that year, the program kind of switched a little bit, and we didn't have that real prayer time anymore. And I had another table full of amazing ladies, but it just wasn't quite the same dynamic, because obviously as the body of Christ, you're going to have people that you just, connect with, that are your kindred spirits. I'm also like a Anna Green Gables girl, so I like that word. And you have other people that you love to death, but maybe they're not your kindred spirits. That's kind of what like the second year and the third year were, and they just kind of moved and stuff. And man, I missed that prayer time. I missed it so much. And so I was talking to one. Yes, she's my favorite ever. Those are my favorite books ever. I have like battered copies of all Lucy Maud Montgomery. I'm a Lucy Maud Montgomery girl. I'm a classics girl. I love oldies books wise. So I was just kind of missing it. And then the one girl that I'd really just connected with really well and stuff, and we just really got along. Our kids are like close to the same ages. Our kids love each other. And she was just like a real good friend that I had met from the moms group. And she was at my table each year. And I was just talking to her one time, and we were both kind of on the leadership team. And we were like, we really miss the prayer time. We really kind of wish we could get that back. But they were kind of like, well, we just have so much going on. So we were talking about it, and we had shared one thing in particular that, hi, Rebecca. We had shared one thing in particular with each other the year where we were all able to be so open and vulnerable with each other. We had shared one thing that was like super, super close to our heart. We never had shared it with anybody else before. And we both found out that we had the same thing that was on our hearts. And so we had promised to each other that we would pray for each other about that. And it was one of those things where it's not something you could tell anybody, just anybody, like hardly anybody. Like I said, I had never asked actually anybody like outside of like my mom. I had not said, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I need prayer for. But it's one of those huge things that needed prayer. It really did, but it's just not something I felt like I could broadcast to the world. This is what in my personal life I'm going through because of the people that were involved. And so we had promised each other, yes. And so we'd promised each other to pray. Well, we were just like, I was like, we don't need to have the prayer group. Why don't we just meet? Why don't we just start having play dates and share our hearts and pray together? And she's like, you know what? Why don't we? And so we did. And so every Wednesday now we meet. I go after I pick up school. Last year we did it in the mornings. This year my daughter is having a little bit of a rougher time at school. So I actually wait until I pick up my daughter from school so that she can go have the play date with her friend too. And so we, as soon as I pick up Amber from school today, we're going to go over to my friend's house and we're going to let the kids play in the backyard and we're going to sit there and tell each other what's going on this week. Because it's always something, mamas. It's always something. And that's something that we've learned over this week, over the year now. We've been doing this for over a year, and we just sit down and we go, it's always something. What is it this week, girl? And we just share our hearts, and we're able to be like, okay. But it has been amazing, the answers to prayer. And it's real life. I mean, we have our kids. We've had, like, epic toddler tantrums in the middle of praying. But it's okay, because God knows. You know, we're just like, God, give us the grace to go deal with this because somebody just killed somebody else in the other room. That's okay though, but we're sharing our hearts. We know what to be praying for the rest of the week, and we're praying together, and our kids see us praying together, and our kids see us being open and honest and vulnerable with each other, and I'm able to tell her everything. I tell her everything. It's like between her and God, I'm just like, blah, and then it's better. And the answers to prayer have been crazy. And it's been so cool, too, because we were just even joking about it the other day. And now I'll send her, like, SOS prayer requests. I'll be like, this just, please pray for this. But it was so funny, because last week I had one of those days where I was like, and so I sent my mom an SOS text message, and I sent her an SOS text message, and I was like, please pray for this just happened, and I don't know how it could possibly turn out good, and I'm freaking out right now, and I'm trying really hard not to have a bad attitude about it, and so then it was so funny, because then by the next night, the situation had resolved itself, in a way I never thought it could have. And so I told her, I said, man, I'm so much like the people in the Bible when they were praying for Peter, and when he shows up at the door, they slam the door in his face because they're like, well, yeah, we were praying, but God's not really going to let you out of prison. That's so me, because like this, I was like, that's just too much. This is too much for God. He can't do this. And like huge things that we started praying for, we were genuinely praying for, and God has answered the prayers, and quite frankly, I'm shocked. And just like, wow, this is crazy. And in places that I didn't think he would. And it's funny, too, though. God always answers your prayers, but he always answers them, and you're like, that's not maybe exactly what I meant. And I found that a lot lately. Like, I always go, yes, God, you're answering them, but
But that's not what I meant when I said that. Just to give an example for something. Lately, we're job hunting right now. My husband is graduating May 7th, with his bachelor's in electrical engineering. And we have been working towards this for a long time now. And I have been the sole, not the sole provider. He has gotten money through the GI Bill, but he has not worked the whole time he's been in school so that he could focus. Because honestly, an engineering degree, especially electrical engineering, he has been working on school from the time he wakes up until 10 or 11 o'clock every night. So there's just no way he could have done school and been a husband and been a dad to 2 kids. So, but God's been amazing through all of this too. And it's been such a blessing because of my work from home jobs. Mechanical, that's amazing. I'm so happy when I hear success stories. His uncle did it too, as an electrical engineer with kids. And his success story was kind of what inspired my husband to be like, we can do this. We can do this. But God's just been amazing because I've been able to work from home, still being the stay-at-home mom, and give us an income to live off of while he's been doing that. So that has just been a huge blessing. But right now we're praying for him to find a job. And also we just want to really be where God wants us. And throughout the years, I've had a really hard time with being like, okay, God, we're going to be here, 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 we're going to do this. And then having like a little tizzy fit when I didn't have my way. But after many years of the Coast Guard and military, and now living with people, my in-laws, for the past 3 years and stuff, I've finally got to the place where I'm able to say, with all honesty, I just want us to be where God wants us. And I really do. And of course, I still have my little wish lists. But honestly, I just want to be where God wants us because I know that that's where we'll be the most blessed, where we can bless the people the most. And especially because my kids are 8 and going to be 6. And they're coming up on those years where they need to be where God wants us. We need to be in a church with a good youth group. They need to be where they can meet their potential spouses even. I mean, this is huge stuff for them in their lives. So I just really, I don't want to not be where God wants us because this is serious stuff. So anyways, we've been praying like this is an example of God not answering prayer the way you think he's going to. We have been praying that it will be very clear, like just super, super obvious. And it has. But how it's been super obvious is we keep seeing these wide open doors, and then he like goes to have the interview or goes to have the job, and then it's very obvious that the door's slamming in our face. I'm going, God, that's not what I meant. I didn't want my husband to have to keep going to these interviews and like them being horrific interviews. So yes, that's a clear sign that he's not supposed to take that job, but that's not what I meant. But it is. That's what I prayed for, and that's what God is giving us. And so it means we're still in major limbo land in March 23rd, and he's graduating in May. But I know God's got this, girls. He's got it. He is going at the very last second. I'm almost done, buddy. 1 more second. Two more seconds. Do you want to come say hi real fast? Yeah. Okay. So, I know that God's got this. This is my Tyler.
Hi.
So I know God's got this, and I will keep you guys updated on what's going on. But anyways, so just an encouragement to, I have like 2 more things. I'm telling them about me and our prayer play date we're doing this afternoon. With Mila. CJ said hi, Tyler.
Hi.
Yeah, see that? You saw your name, huh? Okay. Go do Legos for 1 more minute. Yeah. Let me just finish telling them about how to find a prayer play date person, because I want to tell them
prayer play date
what we do with Finn today. You know how we meet up every week, and me and Miss Abby pray, and you guys play. Mm-hmm. I'm telling these other mamas so they can do that too with their kids. It's a good idea, huh? Okay.
See you later.
All right. So yeah, he's kind of my timer too, to let me know that I'm going over. So, sweetie, can you shut my door? Thank you, bud. He is my little joy of my life. He's my crazy one.
Please tell me, little boy.
Joy, you're a joy.
Man.
He's like, oh man, Mom. He's already. They're both hitting that stage. We're like, Mom. Yes, it is amazing to work from home. It's the best best ever. I'm so blessed. And if you want, like I said too, if you want to check out my journey of how I got here, it's actually been an 8-year long journey, and I'm still not making big bucks, guys. I mean, I'm not. But that's okay because I don't actually want to be making big bucks. I just worked part-time last year. Full-time is too much for me. So I pulled in a modest full-time salary working part-time, which
Have yogurt.
yes, you can have yogurt.
Yay, Nisa love yogurt.
And so, all right, wrapping this up because I know we're busy mamas. Oh, and my battery's going to die. So how you find, okay, go, no, buddy, go. So how you find a person, because too, even before, yes, it was, yeah, and like I said, you can find my whole journey. I have just one post on my blog, ConfidentFoundation.com. You can find the URL in my bio, and if you search for work from home for real, it just kind of talks about my journey of how I was able to start working from home and now how I am working from home. Yeah, okay, well, since it's just us on here, I'll go ahead and say, because like I said in my group, I'm not shy about throwing out money numbers, but I know it makes other people uncomfortable, so I try not to just be like, blah, 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 such money. But I made $38,000 working from home last year. So, but I mean, I actually do know bloggers who, like, their husbands have quit work and are working from them. And then I have one girl that I kind of started out with, but she pursued it as a full-time job from the beginning, and she pulled over $100,000 one year. So, like, compared to that, I'm like, I'm not doing, probably living up to my full potential, but I'm living up to the potential for us because I need to have time to be the full-time mom still and everything. So it's perfect setup for us. How you're going to find the prayer playdate person. So obviously you need somebody who you can trust explicitly, because this needs to be somebody that you can be completely vulnerable with and tell the real stuff and take that mask off and just say, exactly. And actually, like I said, I don't even want to be actually probably making a lot more than that, because my whole goal, my whole life was to be a stay-at-home mom. So the fact that I'm getting to work from home is just icing on the cake. And really, I just put it into overdrive when hubby was in school. But hopefully now, with a bachelor's degree and an engineering job, he'll get to go get the big bucks, and then I can keep working from home when they're both in school. And then it'll just be like play money, basically, for us, and just a little bit above an extra so that we can help grow our family some more and maybe get some land or chickens or something. I don't know. We have all sorts of crazy dreams right now. But praying for the person. So I knew after there was this one church that we were going to for a while, and he had a message, and it was entitled, "If we had more Jonathans in our lives, there would be less Nathans." And it was talking about King David and how he didn't fall into sin until he lost Jonathan. And then after he lost Jonathan is when, like, the whole Bathsheba thing and him kind of coming apart from God happened. And then Nathan had to come in. And I hope I'm saying the right. Is that the guy, right? The prophet is Nathan. I just was like, my mind just went. But so then Nathan had to come in and get after him and tell him, you have it doing right.
I want to tell him something.
No. Go at the table with your yogurt. Yogurt did not coming in the bedroom. So, sorry if you told me if it was Nathan, but we'll say the prophet. You'll get the gist of the story, anyways. So then the prophet had to come back and tell him, the story about the guy with the lamb, and basically call him out and say, look at this horrible thing you've done. And so the pastor was just encouraging us to be open and to find someone that we could be open and honest and vulnerable with, because if you have somebody who's able to, in love, call you out on stuff or to pray with you with stuff, then you're a lot less likely to be in the place where you need counseling or reprimanding or, those kinds of steps that are always so hard. So after that, I was just like, yes, it was so good. And I was like, and it was also an encouragement to be a Jonathan, to be that person that someone else can be open and honest and vulnerable with. so that you can pray for them and that you can be the Jonathan in their life. And it was really well timed because I had just gone through some really rough friendship things that happened, weird, strange. I don't know if it was God just telling us it was time to move on from each other or if it was the devil trying to attack something that was great. And I'm not one of those who's like, the devil did it, but it was just weird, this really weird, hard thing that I had to. Sorry, trying to wrap this up. So it's like I could feel the door kind of creeping up. It's like, okay, we're just going to shut it and finish this up, and then I will go. He probably wants to, he did. The problem is he's like me. He loves to see himself talk, and he loves to be the center of attention, and so he's like, I want to go talk to all the ladies. Like my kids, I'll be in work calls, because we do Google Hangouts for my work meetings, and they'll be wanting to run and be like, and I'm like, no, these people are like in offices in Arkansas. They know you're here, but they don't want to see you. You need to not be a part of this. So that's when we Netflix it. But anyways, sorry, distraction. So I knew that, Tyler, go eat your yogurt at the table, please. Okay. Maybe scoping on days when they're at school is good too. But this was supposed to be like 5 minutes, and there you go, another 30-minute scope that I was not. See, the timer didn't even help this time, girls. I just get into it, and I want to tell you all these things. So I was praying about that, and I'd been going through those weird friendship, like really hard, like almost like I basically had to go through the steps of grief because it was just traumatic. It's traumatic to lose a kindred spirit. It just is, and just super super hard. Anyway, so I was in that place, and I was having a hard time, and I knew I needed someone or something, and I didn't know if those relationships needed to be repaired or if they needed to be broken up. But I was like, God, I need a Jonathan. I need Jonathan. Where's my Jonathan? I need a Jonathan. And I was just praying that and praying that and praying that. And then that's when me and my friend had happened to have that conversation together. And then after we'd been meeting and praying for a while, I found out that she had been praying like for a year or more to have a Jonathan, to have somebody who would come up and say, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we get together and pray? Why don't we do that? So just how cool that was. And so if you're going, but I don't have anyone that I can have be a Jonathan. I don't have anybody that I can trust in my life that much. Then just pray, because there's probably somebody out there who's praying too. And if you're willing to be a Jonathan, then God will bring you to your Jonathan. He will. And that's the first awesome answer to prayer that all of this has kind of started out. One thing, I would not have your Jonathan be your mom. My mom is, or even a family member. My mom is my best friend ever. She is amazing, and I love her. And I do share a lot with her. But as my mom, especially if, say, my marriage, for example, or my friends, or something like that, anything I tell her, she is going to be biased towards me, for one thing. So she will tend to take my side. And then she's going to have that in her mind about my husband or about my in-laws or whatever. And as the mama bear, that's going to be a lot harder for her to just partially give me the biblical guidance and wisdom. So I do tell her prayer requests, and we do share stuff like that, but I also have to be careful how much I share. And also my mother-in-law, love her. One of my other very best friends. We live together. We share our lives. She sees what's happening in my life. And sometimes if she sees what's happening, I can be like, I can tell you see what's going on. Can you be praying about that? But I'm not going to sit there and just unload myself, because that's her son. And these are her grandkids. And that's just you need to keep your healthy boundaries. So I would really recommend not having it be a family member, because if you can find somebody who's just a friend, then you can unburden yourself or talk about family members or talk about husbands or talk about kids, and they're able to bring a partial third-party perspective to it and maybe call you out on stuff, or just it's not going to be so biased. So that's a really important thing Because at first I was like, well, maybe my mom or my sister or my mother-in-law can be my Jonathan. But then once I got into it, I was like, you really need to not have those people. Those people can be who they are. They can be your mom and your sister and your mother-in-law, and they should be your best friends in the whole world. But it's different than what I'm talking about here. They really should not be your accountability partners, basically. Because basically that's what this boils down to, is having an accountability prayer partner person walking through life with you. So, sorry that was super long, girls. Like I said, I just get so excited and rambly and just kind of go nuts. But if you have any questions, you can ask. Also, I would definitely recommend The Power of a Praying Wife and The Power of a Praying Mother by Stormy Martin. Those books, too, I got last year. And it would be great to use them for your meetings, but usually we just pray, and then we usually just take turns, because we don't have kids of the ages where it would let us both have like a long prayer time. So usually, like, I'll pray one week and she'll pray the next, and we'll try to cover everything, and we'll just keep praying. So yes, prayer play dates, start doing them. They will change your life, and they are amazing, and I couldn't imagine my life without them too. I told her, I said, even if we move, we're gonna totally like Skype prayer date with each other every week, because I can't imagine living life without it now either. And yes, and if you don't have a Jonathan in your life, pray, and God will bring you one. And then it'll be the first answer to a bunch of amazing answers of prayers. So, anyways, I am going to go. I have a busy day. Wednesday is my eating lunch with my daughter at school day, and it's my prayer play date day, which is why I talked to you guys about it, because that's what made me think about it day. And I have a bunch of work. Deep breaths. And for those of you who are on here, you might be praying for me if you think about it, because I have a doctor's appointment that's going to be kind of weird and awkward tomorrow that I'm really not looking forward to. So I appreciate extra prayers about that. And thank you. I'm glad you liked it. It was just something that was, like I said, it's just been such a huge blessing to me, and I've never heard of anybody. Thank you. I really appreciate that, girls. I've never heard of anybody doing this before. It was like something we just kind of came up with. But I mean, many people might be doing it, but I was just like, if other people aren't, I want to let them know that this is a thing, and this is a thing that you probably need in your life. At least I needed it in my life, and I'm throwing my pretty necklace around. But anyways, lovely ladies, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. And if I can help or encourage even one person, I'm so happy I sat here and did this today. So, beautiful, wonderful days. Go forward and do things today that will bless you and bless your family and bless others. Bye, ladies. My broadcast button never works. Stop the broadcast. Seriously, guys, it's not going. All right, probably because my phone's about to die. I'm leaving for real.